Fallout 4. Fallout in general is a game franchise I absolutely am in love with. Just the completely off-norm, post-apocalyptic, role-playing, open-world game. I mean, that's just ticking all the boxes normally for me. When Fallout 4 was initially released, I got it day one, November 10th, 2015. As soon as I got it, I think I took 4 or 5 days off work, played it. I actually set up, painted a section of my wall in my room and set up a projector in order to play it immersely to get really into it, and it was fantastic. Quick disclaimer, this video obviously contains spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised. I recommend you play Fallout 4 as it's a fantastic game prior to watching this video. Unlike previous titles, Fallout 4's story begins on the day the bombs dropped, October 23, 2077. You got to see this retro-futuristic pre-war Fallout, and it was just incredible. Along with this brand new engine that the game was made in, the world felt like vibrant and alive before you even stepped foot in the vault. And then the best kind of feeling, like with all these Fallout games, as soon as you emerged from the vault, you were just open with this kind of devastating, surrealist kind of vista of what the world looks like now and the world that you're inhabiting for the entire length of this game. And it did not disappoint. The game was a long one. I spent, I think, over about 6.5 days playing it, which is like, it's not a crazy amount of time, but like it was a long time. I started this game in 2015 and picked it back up in 2017, then left it again, picked it back up in 2020, and then just finally finished it like at the end of 2020, and more so just gonna get closure on it.
War never changes.
Again, with a lot of these RPG games, it just suffers the same effect of just being bloated is probably the most accurate word. Like, it's just, there's so much stuff to do. You're kind of overwhelmed by the amount of stuff to do. And
I'm good for now, thanks.
Take care then.
One of the cool aspects of the game that I think everybody agreed on was the base construction. This just allowed the individual to really turn the Commonwealth wasteland into their home. What the Overlook Cinema, I think, was my favorite place for it, because it had the ability to just turn it into kind of like a citadel overlooking kind of like the bastion in front of it. So it just allowed for kind of endless creativity when it came to kind of like designing the perfect defense, but also making it aesthetically pleasing as well. And also it gave you the ability to figure out how to provide the place energy, electricity. So that in and of itself would account for nearly half of your playtime, is able to kind of like be the governor of these settlements dotted throughout the wasteland. Just depends how you're interested or what your kind of purpose is within the game of Fallout 4. But you could spend like days and hours just perfecting and designing these settlements. The ending of the game, I mean, the story of Fallout is kind of like, let's be honest, it's a bit lackluster. It's similar to Fallout 3, where you know, a family member leaves you in a vault and you have to venture from the vault searching for them. The game was kind of, the story was okay. It wasn't fantastic. It was alright. Okay, the story is much more kind of the second seed of a Fallout game. It's more to do with the environment and the atmosphere that kind of plays the lead in it. So essentially, your son Sean gets kidnapped while you're in cryo sleep in Vault 111, and upon your awake, you investigate the world and try to figure out where Sean is being kept. Toward the end of the game, you stumble upon a kind of jaw-dropping...
Sean, is that really you?
Who are you?
So anyway, you meet Sean, and he's an old man, and he's also the lead person in the Institute. When you're in the Commonwealth, they're kind of painted as like these kind of omnipotent boogeymen that will steal people and replace them with synthetic people. Anyway, they're painted as the antagonists for the game. And you realize, no, they're actually just kind of like isolated, intelligent geniuses, you know, that actually do have the interest of the entire Commonwealth in their brain. Anyway, the game kind of ends. There are 4 main factions that the player can choose throughout the story: the Brotherhood of Steel, an anti-synth faction hoping to preserve technology in the Commonwealth; the Institute, a secret organization that specializes in creation of synths; or the Minutemen, a faction that aims to drive out raiders and other threats in the Commonwealth. And then finally, the Railroad, a secretive organization dedicated to rescuing synths from the Institute. So at the end of the game, you're presented with 4 alternate factions that you can side with, and then that decides the 4 different endings within the game. Ultimately, I didn't really care for any of the factions. I think initially my first kind of playthrough, I just sided with the Institute because it was just like convenient.
Shit! Whoa. That's a hell of a thing. Rest easy, boy.
Overall, the game I found was fantastic. I mean, it just depends how much time you want to put into it. Whether you want to kind of just go through the main storyline. Took my time, meandered here and there, all around the entire map before I even attempted to get to the ending of the story. I think ever since my finishing of Skyrim, I was afraid of finishing a Bethesda game before I did every side mission, so I think that, coupled with just the expanse, overwhelming size of the game, led me to shelve the game for 5 years, like so many others. Forget about the main storyline. Well, it depends on your playstyle. If you want to go through the main storyline, that's fine. I think the real charm of Fallout is just going through all the side missions and kind of making up your own kind of main story. Like it's a fantastic game for kind of getting lost in. And the main point with this game was the creation of settlements and become kind of an overlord of whatever settlement you want to design and kind of govern over. That was the real charm of this game, in my opinion. Yeah, so I suppose in summary, the game was fantastic, a bit bloated, hence the reason I shelved it for so long, but overall I found the game to be, enjoyable. So I haven't played Fallout 76, but apparently it's not that good at all, so I don't know if I would play it. If I wanted another Fallout experience that was, decent, I probably would play Fallout 4 again. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.